Welcome back to the shop. Today we are back on our Fat Fender 4 that we call Fat Fanny.
That's a whole mouthful of F words.
Today I'm doing a little experiment about how I'm going to attach the upholstery to the door panel that we made last time. So let's get into it. I'm Mike and you're watching My Car Shop. In our last episode on this car, we made the door card out of 1/4-inch ply, and we're going to be attaching the upholstery material to this. I've got a lot of different ideas of how I'm going to do this, but the basic premise of what I'm looking at today is how we want to attach this upholstery material here. Trust me, it's a lot nicer than that inside. How we want to attach that upholstery material to this kind of board. So I cut myself out a little sample, and we've got some materials over there we're going to play with, and I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting. I've done stuff like this before, and I know it works, but I still am concerned about like glue bleeding through in the upholstery fabric and things like that. So I want to do a test piece before I ever actually try to do work on the real car. So one of the things I want to do is use a piece of remnant here, and I'm not going to use this crappy piece that was covering the car because there's all kinds of dirt and dust and bird poop on it. But I've got plenty of remnant here yet that's going to be basically unusable for anything on the project. So we're going to cut ourselves out a piece bigger than this and see what we can do to make it work for what we're doing here on the car. Now I'm looking at this going, probably want to take a piece from this. Down in this corner would be my best option. And I'm going to give myself way extra material to start. So we'll get our scissors and we're going to cut out a piece bigger than that, probably 1 inch all the way around, probably more than we need. We've also got the end of the remnant there from the edge of the cloth, so we got to allow room for that to get that out of the way. So we'll get this cut out here and then we'll get after it. Okay, let's see here. Hopefully these scissors are going to work. They will, as long as I don't get carried away with how far they go up into the jaw. They're not the best, but I would have to actually go to the house and get scissors, and I don't want to do that. Probably could use a little more. That's more than enough. I promise you that I will get much better scissors for doing this when it's time to officially do it. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's get this wrapped back up in its turd shield. There we go. We're obviously not doing anything real fancy here. I need to work more over here in the middle of the board. Not sure how I'm going to do my corners yet. That can be a problem. Okay, let me get this squared up here first. Because we're not square like a toilet. Okay, that's probably a little overkill, so good. Okay, so I did a rounded corner just to get some practice on that, and we got our other corners a little bit rounded, so see how things look here. I probably could have given myself a little more overlap even than this, but it's alright, this will work. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And there's enough material to come up around to there, so that's good. Okay, I'll set that aside for a minute. I'm going to try a couple things here just to practice. Use the decent side of this. But for what I'm doing here, it won't matter. Again, I'm not trying to do high holy good job here. I'm just mucking around. But I want to try this glue and see how it works. So, because the board is concave on the door, there's several ways. You know, the board is like this on the door, I'm exaggerating, but the panel is curved. And so if we don't do something to affix this cloth to that curved board, what's going to happen is the cloth is going to be like this instead of, so we're going to have to glue it or screw it or pin it or something. So as part of my rationale here is I have two different trim adhesives, super yellow trim adhesive. I'm not going to use that one. They say that's not as good. A lot of people said that this rubber and vinyl 80 spray is really good. Of course, there's higher, holier stuff that you can use that's professional grade and so forth. But a lot of people use this and they say it works really well. But my concern is that it's going to soak through. So let's go over here. I'm going to actually get another piece of wood so I don't get glue all over that board. Okay, there we go. Just want to keep the glue off the work surface, of course. So, and again, I don't really know where I'm putting this. I'm just probably too much, but this tip is not working exactly right. I just don't want it to soak through, and this may be already soaking through. I don't know. Well, let's put some. Looks good so far. I don't see it soaking through. I probably should have put a little light layer on first, and then let's see, where are we going with this? That and okay, and we're going to lay it on this edge here. I think seems like a reasonable edge to do. So let's put our glue here. This I might as well just hold up. Yeah, I gotta fix that tip. That's kind of crappy. Some people say do 3 or 4 layers. I probably will do a couple. Might as well just hold this up and do the same thing again. Doesn't seem to be soaking through the fabric, so I'm happy with that. I've had that happen before. Okay. Put one more layer on here. Definitely got to fix that tip. Ooh, too much glue now. Okay, and we want to go, let's see. I think we want to go like this. Let's just pretend that's where we want to go. Okay. Peel it on, peel it back off, let that glue dry. We'll come back to that in a minute or 6. Here, see how sticky it is. Still a little bit wet, so I want to be sure it's nice and gummy before we put it on. Spread it around a little bit. Scrub it around, as my son used to say. Okay, let's give that a shot now. Okay. And we're not trying to make this obviously perfect. We're just trying to make it done. And I didn't give myself enough, so that's okay. It'll peel off, no big deal. I didn't give myself enough overlap there. All right, that's better. Okay, so we got all kinds of extra glue here, but this is obviously for nothing important. So, okay, let's get our glue board out of the way. Because the biggest thing is, I'm already doing it, is we're getting glue in the upholstery, and we don't want that. It's okay, it's good. So let's make sure there's nothing here. Okay, let's flip this. Try to keep it from sticking to itself. Peel it around. Sticking nicely. I want to stretch it a little bit. Okay, stay back in the corner a little bit. These staples are just a little bit too long, but they're what I have, so this is what we're using. Okay, now we're going to bring this up around this edge. Okay, and actually, oh, let's see. I think we want to do this first. Let's do this. And we're going to give ourselves, about a ½ an inch or so. We don't want too much on there. These scissors suck. I'm going to have to get other ones before I do that board over there. Bring this one up. Okay, get up and around. Looks really good so far. I'll staple in here with 6. Okay, now I'm going to trim this again the same way, 1/2 inch or so from the edge. Okay. And we're just trying to get all that excess material off of there without taking anything out that's going to be up around the edge. You see what I mean? So, okay, like that. Not too bad. Got a little bunchy on the corner. Come down with it this way. It's glued, but we're also going to staple it there. We're going to pull it. Yeah, I should have left a little more material, but that's okay. It's part of what this is about, right? Okay. Yeah, I got to do a better job of not getting glue all over everything because I'm getting dirt on the wood. But the point is, you can see we got a nice corner, and our fabric is glued down, and I just need to be much more careful about keeping my fingers out of the glue. Shame on me. That's on me. But, you know, we got a nice edge, so our back could use another couple staples. Pull that around a little bit. Maybe one more up here. So there we go. I'm not disappointed with that. That'll make a nice edge on that door panel. So I'm going to go clean up my fingers and make sure I don't do that again, and we'll get on this other piece here in just a minute. So there is just a little tiny bit of glue bleed through here, which means I probably didn't let it dry enough. So I'm going to fix the tip on that can. What happens is if it's wet on the board and it's wet here, it could potentially soak through the material as you put that on. So I need to let it dry more before we put that on the actual board. And that's okay, but I want to fix this tip so I get a better spray first of all, because it's just not spraying properly, and that's part of the problem. Is I'm getting it on real heavy in some spots and real light in others, and then you know, if we get a layer of glue on there that's very light and dusting, so to speak, then that will seal that off, and then every subsequent layer that goes on after that will be less likely to soak through. So we just need to clean this up. My biggest problem is I get impatient and I don't wait for things to dry, but I think we're good now. This has been sitting for quite a while. I did check this. There's no glue bleed through. I got a light dusting coat on there, nice coat on both panels, and so let's see what we can do now. We're going to try to get this with about 1 inch overlap all the way around, give or take. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now I should have a roller is what I should have to go here and make sure there's no wrinkles in the material. When we do the car, we will have a hard rubber roller or something like that to go over this to work out like that wrinkle right there. My hands are clean this time. I feel like we're doing okay. There's definitely a hard wrinkle there. We will make sure that doesn't happen, but this is just a test piece. So let's go around, start stretching our material in place, running some staples in. We're going to stay back from the round corner about 1 inch, maybe a little more than. Corner, I'll stay there about 1 inch. I'm going to stretch my fabric a little, come around like so. The glue really helps hold things in place, obviously. Again, we're staying back from our corner 1 inch. Probably should be stretching that fabric a bit more, but that's not what this is about right now. Okay, see how we're looking. Looks really good. My staples are just a bit long, so they're poking through a little. I accept that. I got to get shorter staples. These are 5/16. I really should be using quarters. Let's pull this up here. We'll do the same thing. Looks good. Where's our round corner? Okay, that's... Where's our round corner? Oh, right over here. Okay. Yeah, we're okay. So far, looking good. Yep, like that. Pull this one up, get it up in place on the edge. Same thing. Be sure it's tight where my staples are. Leave it at that for now. Okay, let's do our trimming, but I'm going to get some better scissors first. So there's a bunch of different ways to do corners, and the way I'm going to do this is a little different than I did that one. So normally there might be extra fabric here. I was being a bit chintzy with the fabric, but what I am going to do is take this now, make sure it's pulled tight, and cut this corner at a 45 up like this. These scissors are no better than those other ones, dang it. But I'm going to cut this up at 45 up to about a ½ inch from that corner, okay? Then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just trying to get all this excess material out of my way. I'm going to do the same thing here and cut that at a 45 up to about a ½ inch away. Okay. There, now I have two nice that butt right up against each other like that, and I still have extra fabric here. We're going to deal with that in a minute. Now, let's see here. How do I want to do this? I think I want to staple this down first. Okay, there we go. Now that's stapled. Now we just got that extra material to get out of our way. So there's a couple of different ways we can do this, but I want to get these wings out of my way first. So I'm going to cut down in like so. You see, we've got all this extra thick material, and that's going to be a problem. We don't need this back here. Okay, so we got this extra material back in here that's going to cause a problem, so I'm going to trim that away now. We just want to make sure that we have plenty of material so that our corner looks good, right? So let's trim that excess there. And I'm still going to go find some better scissors, but this is what I have here at the moment, and this is what we're using. Okay, so that's out of my way now. We'll do the same thing over here. Again, making sure we stay back from that edge so that we're not having any material that's not covering the edge. And I'm just going to come in here, nip that out like so. Okay. And Dave, if you're watching, I know you were an official upholsterer and so forth, and I'm probably doing all this wrong, but you know what? It works. So, okay. See how little material we have there now? Our material is all the way around. We have very little bunching on the corner. And I can just come in here and staple that down. Oops, I'm out of staples. But we got a nice corner now, and we don't have a bunch of extra material. All we get is my staples poking through. That's on me because I don't have the short staples, and I didn't get any when I was in town. So ignore all the staples, but realize that they're, these are 5/16 staples, and that's what caused that. We use quarters, and that won't be a problem. But you can see our nice corner now. We don't have hardly any material back here. Boom. Okay, so we're going to go through and do our other corners, and then we'll show you how to do this rounded corner here that we've got to deal with, because that's a little different. That's what we got to deal with on that rounded corner right there. So let me go through and do the rest of these, and then we'll show you how to do this one. Rounded corners are a bit different. You're going to have a little more material, and you're going to have pleats in the backside. And I just go around and I start pulling them in, and all I'm caring about is the outside edge, right? So I'm just trying to pull these back in. Of course, we got glue on the fabric, so that doesn't help anything, but we don't care about what the back side looks like. All we care about is what the edge looks like. So we're going to come and use our staple gun, pull things back a little bit. Okay. And we're just trying to create these little pleats all the way around so that we have a nice tight pull on the fabric itself with no visible edge showing on the corner. Okay. So we got that pretty good there. I'm going to run a couple more staples in here just to help tighten things down. Then we'll trim up our material a little bit. But overall, that actually turned out pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is just take my scissors and just nip this extra material off here out of the way. Okay, and take a little more if I want. So that the panel will sit flat against the car. And then once I got that done, just run some more staples in there. And we've got a nice corner. Okay, so I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. I'm saying this is how I do it. And we're going to sit pretty tight against that door panel now, of the car. So I think that's good. I don't know that I have any corners that round, but I wanted to demonstrate how they were done or how I do them. So the only screw up here, and it's not even a screw up, is the fact that the staples are too long and they're poking through the material a little bit. And I knew that going into this. I knew that was going to happen. So am I caring about all this extra material here? Not really, but if I was, we could staple that down. We could staple that down. But really, I think overall, that's pretty good. So even our little wrinkle in the material is looking pretty decent. So there you go. We've upholstered a little piece of panel just to see, the process and see how it's going to work. Other than the staples, I think we're going to be good. I think that this black 3M glue, this black, what is it called? Rubber and vinyl, 80 spray adhesive is the way to go. So just shoved it in there just to get a feel for what it's going to look like. I think our grays look pretty good together with the seats. Seats have got a little more brown hue to them, but that's okay. I'm undecided what I'm going to do on this, but I'm thinking some kind of a dark gray contrast maybe. I just don't want too many grays in here. That's a concern. And I don't think I'm going to sew any patterns into the fabric. I thought about it. I don't think I'm going to sew any pleats or anything like that. But what I may do, this here needs to be actually trimmed up to about here across yet. That's way too low. It's supposed to be above this rocker panel here. So what I may do is take a piece of stainless or a piece of aluminum or something like that and just run it right across the middle of the door just to give it a little break up. And maybe we will do a different color down on the bottom. I'm not sure. I don't think I would want to do a bright red, but we could. I don't know. I got to think more about that. This is the first I've really thought about colors. I've just been thinking more about design, but I really like the way that turned out. So we will have one round corner probably down there. Maybe not. No, we won't, because we're not going down that low on the door. We'll be up a good 6 inches. So I don't think we'll have any real round corners to deal with. We'll have that little curvature up there, but that'll be easy. So other than my staples poking through, she turned out pretty darn good. Other than using a little bit too much glue on this, and not sure it was too much glue, I just didn't wait long enough for it to dry. I think it turned out good. So proof of concept is there. I like it. Even those staples, if I brush this the right way, you really can't see them. They really do disappear. So it looks pretty good. It's like, petting the cat backwards, make the fur stand up. But I think that's outstanding. It's been a long time since I've done something like this, so it was good to just refresh my memory on the skills and what it takes. There's other ways to do this. Like I said, this is the way I do it. It always turns out really nice. The biggest things are on the back of this is just make sure you have plenty of material pulled back so that you're not exposing the edge. So I always try to stay back about a ½ an inch or more from the edge on stuff like that. You could come in here with a razor blade and trim this stuff, but who cares? So yeah, all right, that's pretty exciting. So drop your thoughts in your comments down there. What's your experience been with doing upholstery? Because I think this is pretty cool. It's going to look nice. Uncertain if we're going to sew other fabric on there. Like I said, I'm not going to do any pleats. I want to just keep it simple to get it done. If I start getting complicated with it, I won't get it done. And the reality is, it's really simple to pop these door panels off and put something else in there down the road. So, but I remember in my 31 Ford, we did the seats with this material. We didn't do a whole lot, and I really, really liked the simplicity of it. So I think with the fancier seats in this, Simpler door panels are probably going to be the way to go. In that car, I bought the LeBaron Bonney interior, and we did the seats ourselves with this material. We're almost reversing this. We're using Dodge Shadow seats actually in this car, but we'll keep the door panels real plain and simple with some accents. There may be some of those snap buttons that you put on there in a few places just to help hold things in place and give it a little accent, but I think it's going to be great. So that'll do it for this one. I appreciate you being here. Drop your thoughts and comments down there. Spread the word. Tell other people. Tell your friends. Tell your fellow countrymen. Heck, I don't care. Tell your enemies. The more traffic we get here, the more I'm going to be able to offer you guys. And I have a whole bunch more stuff yet that I've not shared with you that I want to show you how to do. So we will catch you on the next one. Oh, don't forget, it's important.
Rah!